All right, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another We've Read the Documents live stream. Your host, John Brisson. Thank you for being a subscriber. If you want to support my work, buy me a coffee/We've Read. Thank you for all who donate. If you want to subscribe to my work, search We've Read the Documents on Odyssey, Substack, and Patreon. Substack gives you the most access to my work. I publish my written work, and you get a link to my Spotify podcast stream where my videos go into podcast form if you prefer to listen to that way. I'm currently re-uploading my numerous connections to Donald Trump PowerPoint presentation and various slides on my Substack. I recently got up to, which today will be published, the Virginia Roberts Go Free part. So if you want to know more information about the numerous connections between Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, definitely you sign up to my Substack. The sides are sourced, they're linked, everything is there. I'm going to hopefully publish the entire thing. It's about 100 slides. Actually got some more information to add to it as well through doing the stream. So hope everybody's doing well. This is a continuation of our series on the numerous connections between Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, and the numerous connections between Jeffrey Epstein and RFK Jr. And the linchpin for these connections come from Donald Trump's ex-wife, Marla Maples. Okay. All right. So this is what got me digging and looking, was from this clip of Dale Bigtree now having a Maha podcast, Make America Healthy Again. I believe that Maha, the acronym, comes from the Maha Chohan, the false Holy Spirit, the sevenfold ray in Theosophy. I've covered that in my previous stream about Maha. So let's see what she has to say here.
You have held an intention before anyone else that I knew to really bring Robert Kennedy Jr. and President Trump together.
Knowing Bobby for as long as I've known Bobby, and of course, Donald I met when I was 20 years old. So we were having a lot of conversations about health throughout our relationship, and of course about safe vaccines. So that was a big issue in my heart then. And of course, getting to know Bobby better and how he stood for clean environments, clean water, and then safe vaccines, right?
Yeah.
Giving people the right to really know what they're putting in their body, never forcing a human being to take something they don't know about. It was just a dream in my heart for so many years when Donald was brought into being a part of the race the first time in 2015. And I just had this vision of the two of them getting together.
So that right there, ignited my interest to try to find the connections between Marla Maples and Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump and RFK Jr. And boy, isn't it an interesting web. It could be a very sad, disheartening web, as we cover today. And it really connects them together again. Most people talk about Bill Gates' connections to Jeffrey Epstein, or Bill Gates, kind of the technocracy that Bill Gates is a part of, and their connections to Jeffrey Epstein, including Peter Thiel. And I do want to do a separate show on Peter Thiel's connections to Jeffrey Epstein, but that's neither here nor there. I've talked about Bannon's connections, Stephen Ketamine, Bannon, CNP member, interviewing Jeffrey Epstein. So there are technocracy connections, definitely to Jeffrey Epstein and his funding of many technocrats. I've spent a lot of time covering more of the connections that many people fail to cover. Donald Trump, for example, a lot of people idolize falsely Donald Trump. They think he's our guy. They think he's our president. It's false. And, Donald Trump has numerous connections to Jeffrey Epstein. He actually has, on the record court allegations by Katie Johnson that him and Epstein molested Katie Johnson and Maria. So he has, litigation brought against him, accusations and charges brought against him, which, the Clintons from the Epstein nexus, to my knowledge, do not in that manner. And yes, there are vast connections of the Clintons to Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein may have helped found the Clinton Foundation. I've talked about that in my stream with John Prester. You can go back and look up that stream. I'm not denying that, but most people focus on Jeffrey Epstein's connections to kind of like the left CFR world order instead of the right CMP part of the world order. or they don't want to look at Jeffrey Epstein's connections to people who they think are heroes. Like, I've done a 3-part series. You consider this a 4-part series on RFK Jr.'s vast connections to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, granted, RFK Jr. doesn't have any direct allegations against him, though. I should state that. This interview really, spiked my interest. And I had been following Marla Maples for a while now. I need to do a separate stream on her, pushing theosophy and her major New Age beliefs. But that'd be separate from this stream.
My hope was then they would be able to come together and Bobby would be able to help to secure help for our children. And when you really pray about something, you hold an intention that is so great, then the universe really opens up. I believe the universe opens up. So yes, this was something that I was actively pursuing, was getting the two of them together, and was very happy when that meeting took place.
Marla Maples, what an honor it is to have you on the Maha podcast.
Right at home here with you, Dale.
I know, we're just sitting here, and, I met you, I think, right around the last election. And then we've sort of stayed in touch.
The 2020.
So many, mutual friends. But in many ways, I was just saying, before we started this, you're like a catalyst almost in this Maha space, because you were the first one that started sort of representing to me that Donald Trump is not who they're portraying him out to be. He's actually a beautiful guy. He's loving. He's, he cares about kids. He cares about health. And I know I want to talk to you also about the great work that you're doing, but let's start there.
Great work.
Because, Maha is this incredible evolution. You had MAGA. It's, and then Bobby Kennedy joins forces.
Make America Great Again. Make America Great Again, which in Latin means witch. MAGA, magus, is also, the highest degree in the Church of Satan.
With President Trump, which is sort of like a dream. I feel like it was like a dream you were presenting before it happened. So let's start there. Where was that dream for you? Like, when did you start thinking that would ever even be possible?
Oh, I had it in my heart for so many years, knowing Bobby for as long as I've known Bobby. And of course, Donald I met when I was 20 years old.
Okay, so I'll cover this more in a separate stream. But, as you can see, she's known Bobby for a long period of time. And, lest us forget, when Marla met Trump in her early 20s, well, Trump was married to Ivanka. So Marla Maples was the mistress. So here we have lawyer Michael Kennedy, interestingly enough, not related to the Kennedy family. I did my research, okay? First I thought maybe, it was Michael Lamont Kennedy, the Kennedy member that had skied into a tree. Wasn't him. This is Michael John Kennedy. So not related to any of the Kennedy family to my knowledge. But very interestingly enough, he was a lawyer that had represented Ivana. Did I say Ivanka earlier? I mean Ivana. My apologies for messing up the names there. Ivana Trump. In her 1991 divorce settlement with current U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump. Okay, so I apologize for confusing Ivanka Trump's daughter and Ivana. If I said Ivanka, I think I may have. I did not mean to say Ivanka. I meant to say Ivana. But anyway, he also had been the lawyer also for Timothy Leary as well too, which is very interesting. And so that's quite interesting, the connections there. But yes, so Marla Maples was the mistress. So let's see here. When exactly? So Marla Maples met Trump in 1984. So let's see if we can source that real quick. This is from Fox News saying they admitted in 1984. Okay. So, so she was the mistress. Later, Trump married. Trump committed adultery with Marla Maples. So here we have Marla Maples supporting Donald Trump's reelection to presidency in after his win in 2024. And hold on, sorry. And being very close with the Kennedys, it would appear. So Marla Maples posed up a storm with Elon Musk, RFK Jr., and his wife Cheryl Hines during ex-husband Donald Trump's election night party at Mar-a-Lago. In a new series of photos, Trump's second wife, 61, and mother to his 31-year-old daughter, Tiffany Ariana Trump, appeared to rub shoulders with a host of famous faces, including the SpaceX billionaire, which would be Elon Musk, and the incumbent's president picked for health secretary, which would be RFK Jr. November 5, we gathered as friends with the shared vision to unite our nation and restore the values instaured by our forefathers. We're celebrating the light and joy within all of us. Sounds very theosophical, seems very similar to what Bar Marx Hubbard would say. Maples, who was married to Trump from 1993 to 1999, wrote in the caption. The former model continued. Republicans, Democrats, Independents, and even those who had never voted before united in a vision of peace for our land and in our hearts. This was a celebration to secure hope for all children, for families, for nations formed as one under God. Okay, so here we have, the picture of RFK Jr.'s wife, the actress from Curb Your Enthusiasm, Cheryl Hines. Right there is Marla Maples, and right there is RFK Jr. So she's known RFK Jr. for a very long time. She's there to celebrate Donald Trump's reelection to president in 2024 at Mar-a-Lago after his reelection with RFK Jr. and Cheryl Hines. Marla Maples. Mother of Tiffany Trump and ex-wife of President Donald Trump, Marla Maples was among the supporters who appeared on Capitol Hill this past Wednesday during the confirmation hearing for Health and Human Secretary nominee RFK Jr. So they're supporting RFK Jr. at his Capitol Hill confirmation hearing. Okay, so she is, good friends with the Kennedys, good friends with RFK Jr. Okay, that's you can tell it's appearing at, Mar-a-Lago, you could say she did for Trump, but appearing at RFK Jr.'s confirmation hearing was for him. Okay. So Epstein at Trump wedding to Marla Maples. Here's a picture by the photographer Daphne Jones, who also took a picture of RFK Jr. and Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein together. So, there's many photos that Daphne Jones have had of Jeffrey Epstein in the past. And so here is an excellent thread by Gumby for Christ on X. Here you go. Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump wedding to Marla Maples Plaza Hotel, Manhattan, December 1993. Okay, so there you have Jeffrey Epstein right there. And then also someone else who was at that wedding, interestingly enough, too, was the Saudi arms dealer and trafficker Adnan Khashoggi. Okay, so we have talked about Adnan Khashoggi many times previously on this channel. And so as the antidote with Jeremy Rothschild and Greg McCarran. And Trump bought Adnan Khashoggi's yacht. So the yacht was originally built in 1980. It was named Nabila after Adnan Khashoggi's daughter. It was later sold to the Sultan of Brunei, who later sold it to Donald Trump for $29 million in the late 80s, early 90s. And Trump renamed it to the Trump Princess. And then to dock the Trump Princess at Atlantic City Harbor, Trump obtained special dredging permits, which instead of taking 3 years were accomplished in only a couple of months with the support from Roger Stone and the lobbying firm Black Manafort, Stone and Kelly. So I've covered Roger Stone at length at this channel, how corrupt and degenerate Roger Stone is. Brendan O'Connell's done a really good stream on Roger Stone. And, as well as Paul Manafort being Trump's 2016 campaign manager, and also his degeneracy as well, too, and corruption. So that's interesting. And then Trump sold it in 1991 to the Saudi Arabian billionaire businessman and House of Saud royal Prince Alawid bin Tayil, who renamed the yacht Kingdom 5KR. Okay. So, Trump does have connections to Adnan Khashoggi. Adnan Khashoggi was at Donald Trump's wedding to Marla Maples as well. And here is kind of an article on that wedding. After naming their 2-month-old daughter Tiffany, anything else Donald Trump and Marla Maples dreams up somehow anticlimactic. Impervious to what resembles restraint or understatement, the real estate developer and his Georgia blonde long ago passed into a category of their own where too much is true Trump. So it surprised no one that when Donald and Maples finally blazed the matrimonial trail tonight, it was 1,000 of their closest friends. Epstein was their closest friends, right? And Ann Khashoggi was their closest friends, right? In the grand ballroom of Trump's Plaza Hotel, once managed by his former wife for $1 and all the dresses she could buy. And that there were hundreds of cameras, thousands of white orchids, and one tiara with 325 diamonds worth $2 million. The tab for the evening, including $600,000 worth of caviar, looked to be about $1 million. But with Trump a man possessed of an elusive net worth, you'll never know. The bride was a vision in white and just absolutely gorgeous, said New York Mayor David Dinkins. Donald just beamed. It was a lovely, lovely ceremony. What mattered to the bride, all the warmth in the room, she said, looking out and seeing all the friends and family that had been there through everything with us, reading from the prophet, just holding his hand tight and knowing we were home. It was a ceremony many thought would never take place. After the divorce of the decade in 1991 from the first Mrs. Trump, just Ivana now celebrated Roman, a cleft novelist and shopping network diva. And 6 years of on and off again affair with the expiring actress Marla Maples. Trump, as of tonight, Trump said he was persuaded to marry again by the month's shootings on a Long Island commuter train. I figured life is short, he said, although it's unclear whether the multimillionaire has ever in fact set forth on a commuter train. The media gobbled up the spectacle with upturned noses and eagle eyes. Trump is the publicity-crazed man they love to hate, but no detail of the hastily planned extravaganza is too small to report. Even the sedate New York Times served up tidbits on its front page Saturday, and the New York Daily News columnist Amy Pagnozzi broke off her self-imposed Trump ban with this wedding toast. Tacky, overblown, depraved in its conception, she wrote. Surely things happen, people commit adultery, have out-of-wedlock kids, but they can nevertheless be a little abashed about it. But no, this was an all-white wedding. Not even the champagne blushed. So, I mean, fits Trump, right? No shame at all, right? Is he the man of sin? Huh? No shame that he committed adultery and later married this woman. No shame. So let's see who was there. The couple reported decided on tonight for the wedding because both had it free. Donald's dad, Fred Trump, served as the best man. Janie Elder, a pal of Marla's, was maid of honor. Metropolitan Opera singer Camilla Johnson performed at the ceremony. The Reverend Arthur Colinandro, who counseled Trump during his divorce from Ivana, performed the ceremony with traditional vows. Trump has gotten a middle-class mentality, said New York Post columnist Cindy Adams, which means to do right thing, have a baby, you marry the lady. There was no time to send engraved invitations, so the wedding guests received personal calls. Among the attendees, New York Senator Al D'Amato, Howard Stern, Bianca Jagger, all the comments that, Trump over the years had made on Howard Stern. John Trump Jr., interestingly enough, would go over to the radio show that supposedly allegedly competed with Howard Stern, which is Opie and Anthony. I used to hear John Trump a lot on Opie and Anthony when I used to listen to them very many years ago. But Trump's comments, inappropriate comments that he would date Ivanka, his daughter, right? Bianca Jagger, Robin Leach, Tommy Toon, Susan Lucci, Rosie O'Donnell, arms dealer Adnan Khashoggi, O.J. Simpson, Randall Cunningham, Evander Holyfield, Joe Frazier, Don King, and assorted models in various states of dress. It's probably in poor taste to say it won't last, said Stern, the marriage, but I'd give it 4 months. If by oversight you weren't invited, you can still send the newlyweds a gift. They're registered at Tiffany & Company, Asprey, and Cartier. Okay. So, one family who missed the ceremony, Tiffany Trump, was born on October 13th. Remember that date later. Okay. People said Trump was listed on page 24 of the first flight log, which was dated October 11th, 1993. So Trump flew on Jeffrey Epstein's Gulfstream plane on the 13th with Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Donald Trump, right? So just remember that Tiffany Trump was born on the 13th of 1993. Okay. Along with his ex-wife Marla Maples and children Tiffany and Eric, the former president flew on Epstein's private jets multiple times, first appearing in the flight logs in 1993. He also spoke of his friendship with him, telling New York Magazine in 2002 he's known Jeff for 15 years. Okay, what a wonderful guy is what he said, right? So, okay, there you go. And then I've already showed the flight log here. And then the second time, he flew with Marla Maples, Tiffany, a nanny, an unknown nanny, and Mark Middleton. Clinton's, right? Shotgun discovered near body of former Clinton aide Mark Middleton. A shotgun was discovered near the body of former Clinton aide with links to Jeffrey Epstein, who died by suicide last year. Beside initial reports to the contrary, officials said last week. A new set of documents obtained by Daily Mail states that Stoger 12-gauge Colt shotgun was 30 feet from the body of Mark Middleton when he found dead on Heifer Ranch in Perryville, Arkansas on May 7, 2022. So you have numerous connections between Donald Trump and his former friends, the Clintons, right? Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, and now Mark Middleton. Mark Middleton's suspicious death. Put a pin on that. We might revisit the Clintons and Epstein for a future show. This is from Seth Aberson, a thread that he had posted on Threads. On October 11, 1993, Donald Trump's girlfriend Marla Maples, 2 months from becoming his wife, was 24 hours from being driven to West Palm Beach Hospital to give birth after 12 hours of labors to Tiffany Trump. You might think that with Marla being that particularly close to giving birth, Trump would stay by her side in West Palm Beach. He didn't. On October 11, 1993, flight records indicate that Donald Trump left West Palm Beach for New Jersey on Epstein's child sex trafficking jet. You have to wonder what's so important about Trump going to New Jersey with Epstein that day in 1993 that he abandoned his girlfriend hours before she went into labor. Certainly, that labor was unforeseeable, and indeed, by October 14th, Trump was back in West Palm Beach. But it does make you wonder where he was on October 12th and October 13th, and with who and why. Okay. It seems to have been around the time he'd been communicating with Russian government officials about a huge real estate deal. All right, a speculation by Aberson there. In my PowerPoint presentation, I have Leon Black's vast connections to Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. But again, it is odd. Aberson is right for Trump to miss the birth of his daughter. Birth of his daughter. Tiffany Ariana Trump. Asher Blueprint mentions the DynCorp tail letters on Jeff Planes. Why does no one talk about that? I've spent time trying to completely verify if those are truly DynCorp call numbers on Epstein's planes. I have not been able to fully verify it. I think me and S90 tried it one time, if I remember correctly. If you have any information that is verification that those are actually, call numbers or call signs for the plane, for Jeffrey Epstein's plane in relations to DynCorp, other than speculation, by all means, send it to we've read the documents at protonmail.com. I'll give you credit. I'll look over it and I'll report it for sure. I just was never able to completely confirm that. So yeah, if you can send that to me and we can confirm it, by all means, I will report it. All right, so anyway, Trump misses the birth of Tiffany Trump. And Tiffany Trump does seem to be the ostracized Trump out of the Trump family. black sheep of the Trump family for whatever reason. We really don't know. Okay, now maybe this is why, and if this is true, this is quite sad. Okay, it's sad, it's degenerate, it's disgusting. Okay, so here we go.
Oh, and then Marla Maples got, before they were married, got pregnant, and according to Epstein, he and Trump spent a lot of time about how to deal with this. With Trump clearly did not want to have the child, and what were his options, what were his recourses, and how could he convince Marla Maples not to have the child, which he seems not to have succeeded in doing.
That's very sad. Marla Maples and Trump were not married at the time. Marla Maples was his girlfriend. So maybe this might explain Trump's distance from Tiffany Trump, that he never truly wanted her, which is sad. Now this would be from Michael Wolff's conversations with Jeffrey Epstein and the knowledge of such. Okay. So this is from Kirby Sommers. In 1997, right after Donald Trump split with his second wife, Marla Maples, Ghislaine Maxwell fixed him up with one of her and Jeffrey Epstein's girls. Anuska D. Georgiou was introduced by Maxwell by Jeremy Lloyd in London, was installed by Trump into one of his apartments. So after Trump split up, he's going through the divorce proceedings with Marla Maples. Again, Trump got with Marla Maples before he knew Epstein, I believe. So Epstein did not fix Trump up with Marla Maples, but there is good evidence, and Epstein says himself, that he fixed Trump up with his current wife, Melania. Okay. So, this would fit a pattern of Epstein. This would be another woman that you could add to Epstein fixing up Donald with women. Okay. Just weeks after ditching his second wife, America's best-known billionaire Donald Trump has fallen under the spell of a 20-year-old English girl. Trump, who has failed to his bid to secure the services of Princess Diana's butler Paul Burrell, was in search of another British trophy when he met London model at a party in Manhattan. Several American millionaire already at the work on Anika, but when she was with Robert Maxwell's daughter Ghislaine, who was her introduced to several of her attractive friends to the property developer. Okay, so it was through Ghislaine Maxwell, working under the behest of Jeffrey Epstein, to put Anuska together with Donald Trump. Okay. So, in conclusion, these are more connections between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein through his ex-wife, Marla Maples. Marla Maples is also very good friends and very close with RFK Jr. RFK Jr. was good friends with Jeffrey Epstein during the 90s, during the time that Donald Trump was married to Marla Maples. Okay. So, it is, I don't know this for sure. I don't have pictures of all of them together to my knowledge, but it is a fair assumption and speculation to believe that at one time Ghislaine Maxwell and or Jeffrey Epstein was together with Donald Trump, Marla Maples, and RFK Jr. And maybe even RFK Jr.'s wife, Mary Richardson. Okay? So, again, you have the vast connections between Marla Maples, RFK Jr., Jeffrey Epstein, and Donald Trump. Okay. So you can add this as part 4 of the numerous connections between RFK Jr. and RFK Jr. and Jeffrey Epstein if you want to. You can add this to a continuing presentation of the numerous connections between Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump. There's probably so much more out there that we will never know. Okay. So, all right, everybody. Take care. God bless. See you soon.